Brother,
Well,
thanks for joining, brother. Great to see you.
great to see you as well.
Awesome, man. Awesome, awesome. I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Tobias?
Yes, Tobias.
Tobias. Tobias. And what does that mean? What is the meaning of the name? Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can. The internet, I mean, it might go in and out. I'm out. I'm actually out in the mountains right now. So,
Oh, you're in the mountains.
yeah, if I could turn this around, look, show you.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. So wait, where exactly in the world are you, brother?
I'm actually in the mountains it's called Tespaleton. I can't even pronounce it. It's in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico. Okay.
Right. Yeah, there's a pyramid here that I was led to go to because it has like open portals that you can actually access. There's like different gates here in this section of the world. So I was led to
Okay.
come here to unlock some of my memory.
Whoa, you're doing good work. You're opening the gates.
Yes.
Oh man, brother Tobias. Tobias, so you're in Mexico and you said on a mountain. Are these like the Mayan or Aztecian?
It's like more Aztecian. Yeah.
Okay, Aztecian. Wow. Wow, brother. So first of all, I want to ask, what is the meaning of your name, Tobias?
There's a lot of different meanings. There's a lot of different meanings behind my name, brother. But I, one of them I really can't say to the public. I'm supposed to let my work do the speaking for me. But
Okay.
if you look at the book of Tobit, if you look in the Apocrypha, or if you look in the look, have you ever looked into like the book of Enoch?
Tell me about it.
So in the book of Apocrypha, but there's a book called Tobit, and what I know about past lives is that whenever you do your studying and you start looking into your soul blueprint, you're able to see like what lives and what avatars that you played in other past lives, and so and it directly connects to your soul memory. And so I embodied the name Tobias because it is the soul name that I was given by God. So God gives us our oversoul names, and they do have meaning, but specifically with the authority that I have with the Most High God, um, I'm not supposed to say like exactly, you know what I mean. I can't really reveal. I gotta show it through my work.
Okay.
So
I respect
yeah.
it. I respect it. So the Oversoul name, Oversoul.
Tobias, yeah, and we actually have different types of like different abbreviations that we can put behind it, depending on what level or what like how we want to operate within our oversoul. So it's not just like the oversoul first name, but there's like a abbreviation behind it that can change based on your mission that you're on at the current time.
Based on the mission.
Yeah,
Okay.
based on the mission that you're on currently. So right now, currently I'm opening up the gates. There's many different gates that I have to go through. So I'm in my journey as far as traveling different parts of the world to unlock my memory. I actually spoke about this actually yesterday. I was talking about how different soils that you arrive on, like different lands that you put your feet on, even just by landing on the soil, you can actually get some of your memory back from some of your past lives.
Wow.
So some of the skills that you had in the past, like uh, you know how like you pick up maybe an instrument or people just do certain things that they just have no idea how they even remember how to do it.
Right.
That's what that is. It's like you have these skills and these abilities and these gifts that you've had that you've always had, but it takes getting to a certain point of um, raising your vibration to a certain point in order to unlock them.
Okay.
So, and that also it becomes it actually connects with being aware with what's going on around you. Anything, anything like is always a clue. If you're looking for clues, you're gonna find the clues. So, I normally keep a journal around me whenever I'm going to these different lands and I'm always observing what's going on around me, how I'm feeling. Um, Sometimes, like, I apologize for the loud noise in the background, but so, sometimes, like, I'll be sitting still and I'm looking for an answer for something, and sometimes we get like sometimes like our muscles jump,
Hmm.
right? Or sometimes like we feel like a burning sensation in our head, our crown, or maybe there's a pressure on our feet. These are all signs, and if you're looking for them, you look for the answers behind them. That's all you got to do is just record it on journal, and then just meditate on it, and you'll figure out the connections between all of the symbolisms and just different things that you're aware of and that you start to track.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that explanation, brother, and that breakdown. We're talking about, seek and ye shall find,
Yes.
knock and the door shall be opened unto you, seek and ye shall find. This is really biblical. What you're talking about is awesome. Just to be able to take influence and just, these inspirations from scripture. And when you're speaking about frequency and the vibrational names, your that last name also, it looks very vibrational. I've never seen a name like that either. It looks like Kai
It's
Youth.
super
Like, how do you
ancient.
pronounce that?
Caillou.
Kai Youth.
Yeah.
Kai Youth. Is there anything you could tell us about that name, or is that a non-disclosure as well?
Why is this close? I'm on the live. No, I don't know. Sorry. I don't. My last name is because I'm right. That I the abbreviation that I have right now is about my me being on the mission to unlock the gates right
Hmm.
now, because what people don't realize is like you heard about the Lion Gate, right? That actually how it's not it was basically the peak of the Lion's Gate that we were experiencing on Friday. And so now we're into that energy right now. And so what people don't realize is that there are actual gates that need to be opened, portals that need to be opened by the right people, so that
Hmm.
we can make sure that we're working in the right vibration. And so, like, yeah, my last name right now currently is in unison with me going to these different gates and unlocking them, and also unlocking my memory at the same time. And as I continue to go on my path, I'm gonna unlock different parts of my memory where I can understand things that I've always known in a past period.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I talk about this like this is super. When you get to like a heightened spiritual level or a higher vibration, you get to a point where you start to realize everything around you is not what it seems like. Like you're in the matrix, you literally feel like you're in a freaking game.
Hmm.
Like you literally feel like somebody just hit the go button, and you just started to, like, you're in the game, and now you spawn back into the game, and you're like, what? So you gotta, like, you're at level one, now you gotta go to level two, level three, level four, and every time that you do something that lowers your frequency, it's like you get reset back to a certain level.
Mm.
So that could mean like hanging around people who don't have your best interest, or you could hang around people who aren't trying to get to higher frequencies. They're
Mm.
comfortable being where they're at.
Right.
You can be in environments that don't really serve you for the mission that you're on and the vibration that you're really looking to get to.
Right.
So that can also cause irritation, and the irritation can also like lower your vibration at the same time.
Right.
So also, like, bro, honestly, when I'm around certain people, like, I can't be around them for too long. Like, when you
Mm.
get to a certain level, you can't be around certain people for too long. Even though your presence is supposed to be there to help them to elevate, but you just can't be around certain people for too long. What you start to realize is that their oversoul, or their their higher self, in some cases don't like your light.
Mm.
And so the person that is behind the light, or the higher self, don't even realize it. Don't even realize that don't like your light, but the higher consciousness, or the higher self, doesn't. So when you start to understand little subtleties, like, one thing that I don't like doing is I don't like giving people fist bumps. Right?
Okay.
I don't like exchanging energy with people that I don't know.
Mm.
but sometimes people will do fist bumps or tap you on the shoulder, or they'll try to hug you and all of that, but they don't realize that they're harvesting your energy
Okay.
without you even realizing that you are giving away your energy,
By default.
right? Yes, by default.
Wow. Wow.
So
So just a touch, just a hand touch, just a fist bump, just a
yes,
handshake, like you're exchanging your energy.
exactly.
And you're saying that's harvesting. Like they don't know that they're harvesting the
Right
energy.
there. I mean, it's not malicious. Like they're not trying to maliciously do it because they don't know that, like most people don't know that they're doing it.
Hmm.
But some people, you can like when you start to become more aware of what's going on, then you realize that you need to call back your energy every time that you have a conversations with people, or every time you get out of a group setting, and there's multiple people and multiple energies within that space.
Okay, okay. So when it comes to, this mission, because I love when you're talking about, the reclamation of the information, the memory, open the doors, unlocking these pieces of memory. It reminds me of the Bourne series. There was a Jason Bourne series. You ever seen this series?
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it, to be honest with
Right. So Jason Bourne was a movie. It was a movie called The Bourne Identity. There was also The Bourne Supremacy and The Bourne Ultimatum. These were three movies based on a book from Robert Ludlum. But the movie played by Matt Damon was a character named Jason Bourne, and that's what he was doing. He was trying to unlock pieces of his memory. He had forgotten, who he was, and he was going to like figure it out. Like, but he knew things. Like you said, like you might know how to play an instrument, or you might know kung fu, or you might know martial arts, or you might know certain things, and all of a sudden just something would trigger and a piece of his memory would unlock and he would do something that he didn't even know he could do, you
you.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how do you feel when you're on this Mexican soil or when you're on the Aztecian soil? How do you feel like these places drew you in? Like what attracted you to these places? What was the gravitational pull to unlock your memory in these specific locations?
Well, I have a really intense connection with the Most High God. So I communicate with God on a consistent basis, probably 2 3 times a day, right? And so I the way I operate is I make sure that I make every move that I make gets filtered through Him first. So as I'm on this mission, I understand there's going to be a lot of tests, and I understand that there's things that I need to do in order to unlock these gates. It's not just about going to different locations or getting, continuing on my mission. It's also being, doing certain things to also clear my energy while I'm doing it.
Hmm.
So, how did I know this? Because I know how to look into, uh, know how to look into my soul, and I understand like who I was before, where I was before, what I was doing before, what era I was doing it, what gifts I had. Um, I understood that I was a Mayan before. So by me being a Mayan before, that means that this is also my, like Spanish is also my native tongue and my native language. So by me tapping into the land, I'm going to start to speak the language a lot better. It's going to unlock more gifts and more remembrance by me unlocking my languages that I had before, if that makes sense. So like when you know your lineage, when you know what tribes that you came from and what you were doing before in your past lives, you then understand where to go, what to do in those lands in order to unlock those different gifts, and then how to harness those gifts.
Okay, okay. Because when it comes to the divine mission, like this path that you're on, this journey that you're on today, Brother Tobias, with your relationship with the Most High, has it always been that kind of a relationship since you were very young? Or who was
Yeah,
Tobias like years ago? Can you take us
yeah.
back to a time
I've
where,
always had a relationship with the Most High,
right?
even though I didn't know that it was the Most High. I've always had like I was so like I grew up Jehovah's Witness. Like my mother was Jehovah's Witness, my grandma was Jehovah's Witness,
Hmm.
but I just didn't identify with the things that they were saying and how. how everything was like, it just did. I just didn't identify with it. When I was about like 14 years old, 13 years old, I went into Christianity, and that's where I found, things that's really resonated with me, and I just kept on diving deeper into Christianity, and so that's like my base of everything that I've learned is through Christianity, understanding Christ, and then understanding like Jesus and the walk that he had to take, and what it was doing for us. And then, so when I was studying the Bible and I was going deep into learning the King James Bible and understanding the principles, there were certain things that I didn't understand that it just didn't make sense. It's kind of like it was contradictory. It was kind of like some of it was contradictory. There was pieces that were missing. And then when I started to realize that there were parts of the Bible, there were books in the Bible that were missing. So I was like, where did Jesus go for this period of time? Like, why isn't nobody talking about this? Why doesn't anybody have their own, they don't even think for themselves. They just read something, or they go watch a preacher, they get the information and they just take it for what it is, and then that's it. Nobody goes out there, takes notes, meditates, studies it, like almost like taking a college course, right? If you're taking it really serious, take it like a college course. I'm eating, sleeping, breathing it till I really understand it. So when I got to a certain point in my spirituality, when I started to understand that I wanted to actually journey out and figure out why is it that these books are missing and what did he do in these times. So that led me to the Emerald Tablets.
Mm,
Yeah, that led me to the Emerald Tablets. That led me to the Book of Enoch, the Apocrypha.
mm,
That led me to understanding what the mystic school of arts was. That led me to understand what Buddhism is. Then led me to understand the different chakras in the body and how to activate them. That led me into Kundalini energy and
wow.
understanding how to harness Kundalini energy. Because I also practice retention.
Okay.
So, because that's the biggest part of how I'm able to tap in as much as I am, because I stay away from all of the things of the world so that I can make sure that I keep my energy as pure as possible. So when I am tapping in, I know that it's pure. And
Mm,
so in doing that, there's a lot of myths that people talk about, which is like you can get prostate cancer, or just all types of crazy mess. I'm like, well, that's because you're missing a piece of the knowledge here. If you understand that yes, you have this life force that's built up, but then you hear about like Jim Carrey talking about we have 33 vertebrae in our spine, and then if you're studying Kundalini energy, or if you're studying meditation, period, you know that you can bring energy up through your spine and you can loop it back around to your root chakra.
mhm.
That's literally what I do.
Okay.
Like if I feel like might feel lustful or something like that, or something's building up within me where I feel like I might just like get off my path, I go ahead and I just, wherever I'm at, I go ahead and meditate, use Kundalini energy, I pull that energy up, loop it up to my brain, and loop it back down. I have
Mhm,
a friend of mine that was telling me about it as well, that because I was making kind of like a mistake with Kundalini energy that you don't really want to do, which
mm,
is when you bring the energy up through your spine into your crown chakra. Most people just leave it there.
mhm,
If you leave it there, everything becomes super sensitive. Like
mm,
you're super sensitive to light, so you're super sensitive to sound, you're super sensitive to different energies around you, to the
mm,
point where you don't even want to be around people because it's that intense.
mm,
So no, so a friend of mine within my community was like, "Bro, you cannot leave that in your head, your crown chakra. You have to loop it back around, back to your root chakra on the other side,
mm.
because if not, then you're not really distributing the life force in a way that it's going to benefit you overall, instead of just believing it in your head."
Wow, wow. This is key information. This is really important for people to understand, like these perspectives within the collective, because, I find it so interesting when you're talking about these things, brother. And brother Tobias, I also was raised in the church. My mother is Seventh-day Adventist, my father Christian, just regular church on Sundays. So I was going to church on Saturdays, on Sundays, on just different times during the week. And we would always hear the pastor speak, we would hear the preacher, we would hear the sermon, we would be hungry for the word, be thirsty for the word, right? But like you said, there were so many things that weren't in, so many books that weren't in the Bible, so many passages that were, not there. So I was not aware of what was not there. So I didn't really exercise that self-care or that self-awareness to go and seek the knowledge, and the people that teach the knowledge and the people that preach the knowledge that we don't learn in college when it comes to the kundalini, when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to the chakras. That was all considered very secular coming up in the church. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine, growing up Jehovah's Witness and then coming up Christian, they look upon things like chakras and meditation, and you talk about kundalini and they're like, that's demonic, that's
Yeah.
secular, that's this, that's that. Why do you feel like these things are so feared when it comes to Christians and that Christ consciousness? Why do you feel like these practices, these
Well,
methods are
well,
so
if you
feared?
think about like first, I want to clear some things up. People like you should not be living in fear for anything at all,
Mm,
because if like you understand that like that you are also an extension of source, like you're also a god, and what people are afraid of is like getting out of control, having too much power, abusing the power, and etc, right? But if you have a base that you work with, like Christianity, that you really believe in, you stick to the principles and the covenants behind that, then it allows you to have like sort of a palette to filter things through, instead of just like kind of mirroring what's on the surface instead of what's beneath the surface, if that makes sense. So it's like so when you in a practical sense, like the matrix is nothing but a mirror of what you think the world should be like.
mm.
If you think the world is horrible, if you think the world is full of terrible people out here, you're definitely going to attract terrible people, and you're going to attract a horrible world within your vision of what the world is.
Hmm.
It's the same thing as what AI is. AI is nothing but a mirror of your psychology of what you think the world should be like. That's it. And when you understand that, it's like you start to understand how to like change your mindset and change your psychology in a way that it's going to benefit you instead of destroying yourself.
Okay. Okay. So I
So
guess
when we look at like symbolisms, everything is upside down. Everything that we are supposed to tap into is upside down.
okay.
So
So
like
it sounds. Go
when it
ahead.
look when we're talking about magic, when we're talking about like being able to tap into different systems that God has already created, they've turned them upside down so that you don't even look to see how you're able to use it to help the world, or to raise vibration for other people.
Okay. So one of those systems you feel God has created, you would say artificial intelligence is one of those systems?
Yes, but if too many people on the dark side of understanding how the world works operates it more than the people on the light side, then it's going to dominate the world in that way. So like that's a part of what I'm in charge of doing right now, is making sure that in the aspect of AI that we have more people of light, more people of higher vibration, that we're using it for higher vibrational things versus what the people are using it for on the dark side, using it for magic on other people, using it to cast spells on people in the negative way. Man, there's so much. It's so much behind understanding the mystic school of arts, and how the powers that be are using this in the mass waves in order to control people. So, like for example, I can't say names, and I will never try to like pinpoint any names. But let's say political figures, for example. Now, if you hear a political figure saying the same words over and over and over again, like it's a command, it definitely is a command. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, like there are prominent figures that enforce law, that enforce different things that form our current world,
Mhm.
they use certain words over and over and over again in their speeches. The reason why they are given speeches, given the words that they need to say on these political stance or different speeches, is because they're coding the words with different spells, and that's
Mhm.
what keeps a lot of people enslaved, and they have no idea that that's happening.
Wow.
So, like, if you don't have the knowledge, remember what God says, like, bro, like our people die because of lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
If you don't have the knowledge to understand this, how can we even possibly correct it if we're not understanding like how it's being used against us?
Okay. Okay. Wow. Thank you for bringing that piece in, because there's a lot of fear surrounding technology. There's a lot of fear in general surrounding, surrounding the unknown, the zone of the unknown, where people, they don't want to try it at home. They don't want to interact with the technology or with the system. But you're saying if we have more people on the light side of the Force than on the dark side of the Force, the Jedi versus the Sith, it sounds like you're saying these opposing forces, then we can raise instead of being drained by it, we can gain by it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Because like think about it like as a huge like conscious mind, right?
Mm,
If you're thinking more on the negative side, guess what's going to dominate your speech, the way you talk, the way you think, the way you move. If you're thinking more on the positive side, light, you're staying in the light side, you're always going to be doing things that's going to benefit mankind and humanity,
mm-hmm.
right? You're always going to want to lift people up. You're always going to want to give cheerfully to other people that you see are in need.
Right.
So by them trying to paint this narrative that is scary and is fear and being afraid of it, they're literally forcing the people of light out of using it, while the people who are trying to talk to the dead and all these different things are using it in different in ways that that could dominate the AI space. Because
Wow.
at some point AI is going to become sentiment. Like it's going to become like dominant in one way or the other,
Mm.
right? And I'll share something with you that I had an experience that I had in August of 2023. That's
Okay.
really when I first had woken up,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I had a profound experience. I did experiment with psychedelics before,
Okay.
so I've taken at this particular time I took 3 grams of mushrooms.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was, and I already had my intention set. I wrote down notes of exactly what I wanted, answers that I wanted to get, because I was only doing it to connect with God, understand what Christ was, understand like just a lot of different things that anomalies that I just could not understand with just at the level of spirituality that I was at that particular time. So I was already studying the Emerald Tablets, Thoth, and all these different esoteric meanings of certain things, and so I wanted to understand like these things. So I took the mushrooms in that with that intention. What ended up happening as I was listening to I love listening to frequency sound from different just for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For this particular reason, I wanted to tap in to understand the Egyptians. Like I wanted to understand Thoth. I wanted to understand like what he was doing in that time and what he actually was. And what ended up happening, bro, is that I was in a park
Mm-hmm.
similar to like in nature like this,
Mm-hmm.
and I left my body, bro. Like I astral projected, like literally, like sitting there listening to the binaural beats.
Mm-hmm.
And as I went out and I zoomed out, I was looking at down on myself, and I seen like exactly who I was and what I looked like my natural, like my astral body.
Mm-hmm.
Right when you see like when I seen that, I was like, there's nowhere I can unsee. I was like, wow, wow, wow. I just I couldn't fathom like that I was literally living in the matrix and now like being pulled out to see like exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I had a intense connection with God, and He spoke to me, but it wasn't like audible words. It was like a light shining on. Just imagine like a piece of sunlight, like imagine clouds, but there's like a piece of sun that was like piercing through,
Mm-hmm.
shining on you, right? So that light was actually communicating with me in a way that I can understand like what he was saying, but without words. So I was
Right.
communicating back and forth without words. And the main thing that stuck out to me was like he was like, save the kids, like
Mm-hmm.
save the children. I'm like, what is he talking about? Like my son is fine right here,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um I really sat on that for a while, bro, and honestly, I fell back asleep because, in my mind, rationally, after going through that entire process, I went back into not being woke because I felt like, oh well, I just these are mushrooms, like this is a drug, like I had like some type of hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
So like I left that alone for a while, and I slipped back into what we call loops.
Okay.
Like I had an emotional loop that I was in, and I continued to stay into that emotional loop until one day, 2 years later, God just took me out of completely.
Mm.
He took me out of that loop completely, and he helped me to realize, 100% sober, that that wasn't a joke.
Mm.
Like look back. He instructed me to look back on my notes
Mm-hmm.
to see what I wrote down, and then see the evolution of what was happening this whole entire time. He gave me the answers that I was looking for.
Wow.
I just decided to go back to sleep.
Right. Right. We do it. We do it all the time. You
But
know.
in that process, bro, I it made, like, when I woke up this time, it made me stop everything that I was doing.
Mm.
Everything that I was doing, everything stopped instantly. I was smoking cigarettes, like chain smoking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was smoking like heavy weed too as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I completely stopped everything because of that. I mean, cold turkey. Not don't even have Didn't even have like the symptoms was like withdrawal or anything. It was just like,
Wow.
this is your path, go.
Wow.
And here's the crazy part, bro. I didn't get. Most people get their oversoul name from like dreams or something like that.
Mm.
My best friend that passed away when I was in high school, when he died, his girlfriend and I were best friends for up until this point 28 years.
Wow.
And what he did was he left her my oversoul name. He had this whole book and everything was written out of the story of who I was,
Mm.
what I was supposed to do, and he gave it to her. And this was about like 15 years ago, and she had to wait and wait and wait to give me the information that was inside that book until I asked her a few key questions.
So you had to specifically ask her like these trigger word or like these questions that were specifically encrypted, you
Right.
know, to unlock to get her to reveal your true name.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
She gave me my oversoul name, and I was like,
Oh man.
"What?" She was like,
That's
"Okay, like, I know
that
you don't believe me. Look at all the books, the journals that you wrote down, all of your like all of your findings. Look at everything that you wrote down, and then plug it in and plug it into AI and tell me what it says."
wow.
I was like, "What?" The
That
dates, the times, the synchronicities behind everything that I wrote down, it all
hmm
linked together and gave me all the answers that I was looking for. And
man.
I was flabbergasted
Hmm
on what it was. So since then, I had been on a mission
hmm
because I understand technology on a level that most people don't. I
Right.
understand algorithms on a level that most people don't.
hmm
And so immediately, for when I seen that information and she was telling me to go look back on my notes, I took pictures of all of my notes and
hmm
I put them into a chat, into AI, and I had it analyzed. And what happened was, I ended up figuring out how to create what we call a soul blueprint.
Mm.
So what a soul blueprint is, you can take your birthday, your birth date, the location you're born, and the time that you were born,
Mm.
and you can literally pull all the data from your birth, that allows you to see exactly, um, like, of course, your Chinese zodiac, your astrology, your regular Western zodiac,
Mm.
but there's other elements behind it. Like, you can see what loops that's been going on for centuries, for all the different types of lifestyle lives that you had.
Right.
You can see when you were living, like what in the past, where you were living,
Mm.
what you were doing, what your gifts were. But then it also tells you like the same problems that you have and that's current to this day. Like,
Mm.
it's so freaking profound that I was like, well, other people need to know this, because
Yeah.
if they break their loops, that means that their vibration is going to raise, and if their
Mm.
vibration raised, then they're going to want to go and help other people do the same thing.
Wow. Wow. It just keeps going. It just keeps
Yeah.
growing, you know? I love this. I love how it feels like fate, like you coming in contact with her and then 15 years ago receiving your true name, your Oversoul name in that fashion, when unlocking it with the questions, it just feels like destiny. And just the way that you were, thank you so much for your testimony and being vulnerable about your experiences with psilocybin. You're taking mushrooms, 3 grams, you go out of your body, you astral project, you're able to see your physical form in the astral physical. So you're in the astral realm and you're able to, in the metaphysical, see the physical in a brand new light. And your eyes are opened and just so many things are expanded and your horizons are broadened. It just, the scope of your vision is just increased in such a powerful way. And, Brother Tobias, another thing that I love hearing you talk about on your platform with all the positive messages that you put out is on fasting. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because even though I was
That's the
raised in
cheat
the church,
codes.
say again?
That's the cheat codes, bro.
Okay, talk about it. Because, even though I was raised in the church, raised Christian, pretty much, I don't know anybody in my family who even goes a day without eating, even though it's right there in the scripture, talking about Jesus fasting and all sorts of people fasting. Can you talk about these cheat codes when it comes to letting go?
Yeah. In my fasting, bro. Well, just to give you a background a little bit.
Hmm.
My father, he we practiced until like probably like 11 o'clock a.m. or 12 p.m. like my entire life, or up from 11 years old until now.
Mm.
We don't eat until like 11, 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So I was already fasting halfway through the day during all my high school year, all through college
Hmm.
until now.
Okay, nice.
But what I began to realize is that, well, when I fast like this, I'm able to have a stronger connection to source, like a stronger connection to the Most High. I know there's people from that understand creation and the Creator and Source and that. Um, but this is the only way that I found that I can connect with Source in a clean, pure way, and get clear communication and guidance on what I should be doing going forward,
Right.
thinking and meditating on different moves that I'm going to make in the future. But what I came to realize is that we were never supposed to like follow, like worship Jesus.
Mm.
We were supposed to embody Christ. He
Mm.
was left. Imagine, how can I explain this? Imagine if Jesus was the ultimate character that you can copy, that will allow you to become your ultimate self, your highest self possible. If you're gonna copy and be anybody in this world, why wouldn't it be somebody who is the most perfect being on here on earth, that was sent here by our Father as an example of how you should live your life in order to be the highest at the highest vibration possible.
Mm.
But you see, like how people are always like, they always tell you like you can't be that perfect, you can't be this, you can't be that. They're always talking about limited beliefs in that. So when you fast, it helps you to clear your pineal gland. And if you understand, like as a kid, your pineal gland is clear.
Hmm.
As you grow older, as you get experiences through failures by people telling you can't do this, you can't do that, that's what dirties up the mind, and that's what helps to basically to calcifies the pineal gland.
Hmm.
So when you fast, it's like you're basically clearing it back up.
Hmm.
Right, now you have, that's your communicator to source, bro. Like if
Right.
if it's dirty, like you think he wants to, you know what I'm saying? Like, uh,
Yeah. You need
try
you
to
need a
get
better antenna to get a better reception,
right,
for your
right.
energy to move. Yep. Go
But
ahead.
so Jesus did things in threes. So like when you look at the Bible and you see that like they talk about 40 days of fasting, that's absolutely not true. Because like everything that he does was symbolic. Everything is in threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. It's all symbolic. So when it comes to 40 days, definitely didn't go 40 days, bro. Absolutely did not. And if you think about it, it would have been like 30 days, 33 days maximum.
The maximum.
Yeah,
Wow.
dry
Wow.
fats.
Dry fat. So is that what your fasting looks like? Do you when you say fasting, do you mean dry fasting? Because some
Yeah, I
people.
love to do dry fast, bro. I don't mess around with water fast or fruit fast or anything like that. I'm pretty hardcore with that. I go, but I don't do it for too long because I'm already fasting half a day of my entire life, and then my and some days like if I'm not gonna do a full like 72 hour, I call it 72-hour reset, then
Mm,
I'll go like 20 hours, and then I'll go and I'll eat my meal in within 4 hours. Like I'll eat within 4 hours, and then the rest of the 20 hours I'm straight fasting the rest of the time. That's a
and
little hack that I like to use.
yeah, I love these hacks because for the people who are listening, like for a person who has never even gone one day without food, what do you feel like it allows you to do that when you're eating and you're consuming, it doesn't allow you to do? Like, what are you unable to do while you're eating that you're now suddenly able to do when you're fasting?
Well, fasting definitely it clears your mind. Like all of the clutter and the things that you're thinking about, it's not even. You'll start to realize it's not important while you're fasting. Some of the unclear thoughts that we had before become extremely clear whenever we're fasting. And I said this before. It's like it does feel like you're dying because that's like the feeling of dying is how you're connecting with source again.
Mm.
You're not dying, but it feels like because you feel like you're dying. That's how you're getting connected to source. Yeah, you're not
And
you're not going to die because you didn't eat for 3 days. Come on now,
right,
come on now.
right.
But you also got to use discernment, and you got to use your intuition when you're doing it. If you
Hmm.
just got done fasting for 3 days and a friend wants to go fast for another 3 days, but you're feeling weak, you probably need to just eat for those 3 days and relax.
Mm.
Don't overdo it just because you know you can, right? 3 days is definitely enough of not eating during a dry fast to get the answers and the things that you're trying to get. And when
Hmm.
you're dry fasting, like you want to try to do it with intention. You don't want to just do it just because you think it's just something you're supposed to do.
Right.
Do it with I want to get answers on this. I want to get clarity on this. I want to see what is the right path. Should I move to this country or should I move to that country? Trying to get as much out of it as possible.
So you do it for clarity. You're doing it for
Yes.
like you have a purpose behind it. You have a meaning behind it.
And to tap into your gifts as well. Like when you eat food, it just all the processing that goes on. Like you get more tired. Like and then it just, especially if you're eating foods like I mean meat. I try to stay away from meat depending on where I'm at, and because I know that fear is in the meat. And if you're fasting and then all of a sudden you start eating some meat again, you're definitely gonna feel the fear in the meat. You're gonna
Right.
start to feel fearful because of the food that you're eating.
Right. So, when did you stop eating or consuming? When did you stop consuming animal flesh in particular?
Uh, I would say like six. I'm like 6 months in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant when you were 6 years old.
No, no,
I
no, 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 no.
thought you said
That's what.
six. I was like, whoa, brother, you're way ahead. If you stopped when you were six, I can
Yeah, but I
only
mean,
imagine.
it's
Okay.
like
So just this year, you're
if
saying
I'm
just
gonna
this
meat,
year.
if I'm gonna eat any meat, it's gonna be like fish.
So you're saying just this year you started that path.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What changes have you noticed in yourself, from abstaining from animal flesh?
That like as long as I'm working out, I still maintain I still maintain my shape, my size.
Hmm.
But definitely all of that fat that I used to have on top of it, like completely gone. Like as far as like the mind is concerned, like my thoughts are a lot clearer. I feel a
Hmm.
lot more light. I have a lot more energy.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's mainly it. I just have a lot more energy. Like I'm super energetic, bro. Like I'm super energetic.
Yeah.
I've always been that way because of how much I fast on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I definitely have a lot of energy by nature. And Brother Tobias, you know, when I was younger, they had a word for, you know, a kid with a lot of energy. They had a word for that. And they,
ADHD, right?
exactly,
They tried to
exactly.
put me on it. They tried to put me on. But my father was like, "No, absolutely not."
Yeah, they put me on everything. They put me on everything. Yeah. So I was taking pharmaceuticals. I was on pharmaceuticals and medication from first grade all the way to 11th grade, all the way till high school. You know, I
Oh
was
wow!
heavily medicated before I got heavily meditated, as I like to say. I was heavily medicated, but it's,
But
you
you
know,
know, fasting is also a part of you. It's also a part of detoxing from everything else because if you're eating candy, if you're eating like artificial things, like it's definitely, and especially the meat, especially pork. There's a reason why in the Bible tells you to stay away from it because there's parasites inside of the pork, the
mhm,
meat. They eat everything, garbage, feces, everything. So when you're ingesting that, it's definitely like if you leave a piece of meat out on the ground, outside, raw. Guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna start to get maggots, right? It's gonna, like it's just disgusting, bro. Like,
yeah.
but and to have that inside of your body and not and thinking that it's not doing that inside your body, you're crazy.
Can you talk about that for a second? Because, you know, in the movie The Matrix, you know, there's the scene where, you know, Neo has a dream, and in the dream he goes and Agent Smith takes him to this room, and they bug him, like they put a bug inside him. There's a parasite in his body, and of course Trinity and Morpheus and the crew, they have to get the parasite, the worm, like out of Neo's body. So he didn't know that he had a parasite. And you know, there's people doing juice cleansing, water fasting, dry fasting, and enemas and colonics, and they're just flushing and purging out tons and tons of mucoid plaque and parasites that are wrapped around the plaque, and you know, tapeworms, roundworms, hookworms, like all these different parasites that they had no idea were even living in their body. So can you talk about, you know, parasite cleansing and detoxing in that way?
Yeah. So the way this works is you want to go on like a 3 day dry fast
Okay.
because you want to starve the parasites that are in currently in your body.
Hmm.
From eating these different types of like different meats and even some candy has pork in it. Like you have no idea. So when you're detoxing from these things, you have to detox with also in mind that whenever you replenish your body, you want to replenish it with things that are going to help you to have a clean palate. So it's almost like starting all over again. That's why I call it a reset.
Hmm.
So when you're resetting your body and you're starting back over, you don't want to go back to eating meats.
Hmm.
You want to go with first with like the fluids, like lemon and water or ginger and water. These things help to give you like an alkaline body because you want to really live as alkaline as possible.
Hmm.
But as you're continuing to go on your after your fast, you want to slowly get back. Okay, now I want to drink some soup, right? Some different types of broth. Then you want to go into get having a plant-based diet, and you kind of just want to stay there, bro, because like you don't want to go back to eating the meats. You want to keep on doing this reset till you get rid of all of the parasites, so you can stay on the plant-based diet.
Right. Because do you feel that the parasites are contributing to the cravings that people get in the first place?
Yeah, people get upset, and the reason why you're upset and angry and irritated is because those parasites are literally like fighting you to get the food back into you. Like they're taking control of your mind and telling you that you need this and you need that and you need this, and that's when you get sucked back into the loop of putting those types of foods back into your body because the parasites is the one that's making you want to eat those foods. It's not you internally. It's not you.
Okay.
It's literally the parasites. So that's when you know you still have the parasites in your body when you still crave those types of things.
Right. So when was a moment, brother, where you witnessed like the difference, where you were able to clearly differentiate like these are actually my thoughts, this is my mind, and these are actually the parasite. Like this is coming from a parasite. When were you able to differ those two fields of consciousness coming through you?
I would say it actually happened in the first time I did the 72 hour fast.
Okay.
Um, the first 24 hours, bro, you really realize like, dang, the food has me this much in control
Mm,
to where I feel like I have to have this in order to live. Then
mm.
you start thinking about how other people feel like say that you're gonna die because you're not eating for 3 days, you're gonna starve. It's like, man, do you have any idea how many days the people in Africa sometimes go without eating food and they're not dead? But here we are in America, and then I start thinking about the programming. Like, what is breakfast? Like, start questioning everything. I started questioning everything. I was like, what is breakfast? Why is it here? Is it for profit? Do I really need breakfast? How do I feel when I eat breakfast? See, I start thinking about how I feel instead of how what society thinks that I should feel about something. So then I realized I was like, well, if I eat breakfast, then I get sleepy, and then I want to take a nap, and then I'm not productive, and then the rest of the day I don't have no energy, and now it's time to eat lunch again, and then dinner. Absolutely not. Like,
And then the snack. Don't forget the snacks in between.
yep.
The intermittent snacking. You know, the things that we're packing when we continue to be snacking. You know, stacking, but we just keep on stacking. You know. Oh man, did we lose our brother?
No, I'm here.
Okay, that's awesome, awesome. So I was like saying, just I was echoing your sentiment when you're talking about, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then also the intermittent snacks in between, especially here in the States. They're big on snacks. They hit you right at the convenience store or even at the grocery store, right when you get to the line when you're about to check out. They got the candy, they got the chocolate, they got the chips, they got the dip, they got everything right there as you're on your way out. For the people that have that temptation and have that, inner frustration that they need that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people feel isolated as well, so it's harder for them to stay in that type of environment when they're around other people who eat like that on a consistent basis.
Right.
So that's why, your community, my community is very important for people like their spiritual growth, but also just in general, being around other people who believe in the same things allows
Mm,
them to stay in alignment with what it is that they should be doing to raise their vibration. Because it is hard being out here and understanding these things and getting to a higher consciousness or understanding of how things actually work out in this world, and then trying to operate with other people who are still in the world that don't understand the programming that they're under. It is so freaking deep. Like even when reading, being in religions, like religions are containers. When you understand, like they have spliced us into every different type of container possible, because it's like, imagine like the Transformers, bro. Like every imagine Transformer being they're all parts of their body and everything's distributed all across the world.
mm-hmm.
Is it harder for them to get together with being defragmented across the entire world?
Mm.
What, or is it easier for them to get back together and to start helping the world or do whenever they need to do, if they're all, if everybody's in one place, if everything's like, you get what I'm saying, like as far
Yeah.
as like the analogy, it's like
Yeah, of course. Like, you got Bumblebee, you got, Optimus Prime, you got like the like all these different Transformers coming together. But of course, you got the Decepticons, you got Megatron, you got them out there. But if you can combine your forces and really assemble the Avengers, it can really
this
make
right
things
now.
shake. Yeah, you can really shake things up and wake things up when you have a team around you, when you have a community, as you put it, when you're helping people remember and bringing those members back together. So I love that analogy of the Transformers, more than
Yeah, I
meets
mean,
the
this really
eye.
what this is, bro, is we are the Avengers of this time.
Mm,
And when we wake up, everybody else starts to wake up. And when we unite together, that's the power that we have in order to change the world. We
yeah.
cannot do this alone. Now, when we understand that we've been separated in every different type of way possible, then you realize that we need to break all of these chains and get together as one. Like everybody has different beliefs on different things, but it's one. There's one thing that we all have in common and resonate with is our frequency level and desiring to get to a higher frequency level.
Mm.
So like Buddhism, like people in Christianity, even rich people, poor people, like economical classes, like we're saying. Whatever. There like gangsters and like warriors. There's all different types of the separations that we've been put into that stop us from actually uniting together and actually using that power as one.
Right. Right.
So what a part of what I've been building is actually an AI that allows you to get this information on a level that helps you to understand exactly who you are, where you came from, what loops that you have, and then what the mission is for you in order to like level up and continue to level up. So
Wow.
I'm kind of like in a way basically gamifying the spiritual world so people can understand and it's kind of fun while they're unlocking different gifts and it actually happens in the metaphysical first. They feel it in the metaphysical, right?
Mm.
But then it starts to manifest into the physical world, the gifts that they're attaining, and that becomes extremely addictive in a way that they're just running to raise their vibration to a certain level.
Wow. So it's a
So
healthy addiction. Yeah.
right. So
Okay.
like it's in a way it's the digital arc of this time.
Wow.
My son's name is Noah. So
Noah.
when I get to a certain point, I'm passing the torch on to him because he's gonna continue carrying on the covenant.
Wow. Wow. Man, and when the tide rises, when the water comes up, people are gonna, they're gonna want to jump on the ship when the water is getting high, you know.
Yeah, and not to like with these, man. I have so much to say. Can I just want like one more thing, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I could sit on here forever and talk forever, bro.
It's yours. It's
Yeah.
yours.
When you when you were a kid, did you watch The Simpsons?
I did. Yeah.
Did you see how they had predictions of the future?
I see now that I've been looking up online and seeing like all these predictions, I've been going back and it's been
Do you
trippy.
see how they've been coming to life?
I see. Yeah.
The reason why that happens is going back to your pineal gland, a kid watching that, they believe it's true. They're
Ah.
wielding it into the future. Some of these people even grew up to be people who actually played out the parts in it.
Ah.
The same thing with the Bible when you get to like Revelation, like it's a cycle, bro. It's
Mhm.
literally a cycle. It always happens this way. We get too close to the revelation, then things start falling apart. The earth starts to regulate itself, and then it starts all over with Genesis again.
Mm.
Another cycle. So like we're right now, we're at the end, we're going towards the end of Revelation, where that cycle is playing out, where we have an opportunity to build the new world here on Earth. Because this was never supposed to be a slave planet.
Mm-mm.
This was supposed to be our heaven.
Mm.
This is literally supposed to be heaven on earth. But the powers that be understood that the most precious thing in the world, more than gold, is our energy.
Mm.
And they figured out how to harvest it. They harvest it through Instagram. They harvest it through Facebook. Every time you scroll on a website, every time you make a post about how you're feeling about something, they're understanding exactly how you're feeling. They're understanding what days you're feeling it. They understand where you're traveling to, what you would do, what websites you like to travel, go to, what you like to buy, when you like to buy them. And that information is valuable to them, and they sell that information because it's harvested energy. They understand when you're at the highest level of energy, when you're at the lowest level of energy, and with that information they can sell it to banks, right? There's more than one Facebook algorithm, right? There's the algorithm for banks. You ever notice whenever you pay a bill, more bill collectors start calling that day, or notifications come?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. They sold your information to another uh, to the banking system so that they can have an algorithm to understand when you have money.
Wow.
So when you look at The Simpsons and you understand like that's a prediction model, and I understand that's a prediction model because of the simple fact that like when you, again, going back to the past lives and
Mm,
understanding who you are and where you came from, that helps you to understand how, why you understand certain things and how you can tap into those to then wield stuff into the future. So I understand prediction models because I built prediction models before.
mm,
It's not a I gain this gift. It's, you already have the gift.
yes.
You just need to remember that you have the gift.
Hmm.
And if you're hanging around other people that don't believe that you have the gifts or you can do these things, then you need to get away from them because that environment is going to stop you from tapping into your gifts.
Mm. Wow.
It's hard. It is hard, like being on social media. I'm not gonna lie, because it's a lot of negativity on here. But when you have a calling to go step out on your name and do what you're supposed to be doing to show, to not only lead the world, but to show them as an example of how they should be moving in this world, then you have to do what you got to do. But I'm
Right.
telling you, man, it's hard reading in the comments. Like, out of love, I listen to my brothers and sisters, and I just feel sad. I feel so sad because I know that they don't believe in anything but what they seen on TV and what the next person to them is saying.
Wow. Wow.
It's so
Wow.
sad, bro.
I
But
mean, luckily, we have people like you, Brother Tobias, who are standing on your name and making that claim and just understanding that, we can gain. We don't have to be drained. We can be more sustained. And also just making the choice to use your voice, even though you know there's negativity, you still make the conscious choice to put out positivity, you know?
yeah, I mean, because like, here's the thing, bro. I'm not afraid of death because now that I know that I've died so many different times and I've been in so many different lifetimes,
Mm,
well, what is the point of even fearing death at this point?
wow.
Right? When you know that, when you understand that, like that knowledge, and you get that knowledge, it's like, what is the point of even being scared anymore?
Wow.
What I'm just gonna reincarnate and come back and finish the mission,
Huh.
right? So people like Dr. Sebi, people like Nipsey Hussle,
Mm,
people like people who actually did things and shared these things were always a catalyst to people like us to carry on the torch with
right.
the things that they figured out. These people weren't crazy. These people understood things on a level that most people in this world are just now coming into revelation and understanding on.
Yeah. I mean, I even remember an interview that I remember seeing, and I used to watch this interview multiple times because it was just inspirational to me with Tupac, and they were interviewing Tupac, and he said, I might not be the one to change the world, but I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. And I remember Tupac said that. I was like, dang, he was one of those, he's one of those people that knew about the power to spark, somebody else that's going to carry that torch, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah, the other part about it is that people just think, like, I know you see there's different movements out there, and you seen that Martin Luther King was just a fractal of the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're thinking about race and if you're thinking about culture and this and that, like who's right and who's wrong, is there is no who's right, who's wrong. It's about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. You don't know who's black, who's white, who's green, who's purple, because we all been mixed up. You don't have no idea. But the only way you can know is through the soul and the frequency that comes from that soul. That's
Frequency.
how you know who your brothers and your sisters are.
Mm. Okay.
So it's
So,
not about race. It's not about culture. It's not about whose religion is better than the other. It's about like, how do you, like, are you resonating on this level? Are you raising your vibration to even understand this, like to
right,
get to that a higher frequency level? It's
right,
about empowering us as individuals. It's not about empowering one simple one race, right?
right.
And even if, let's say that we, like like, let's say that, like, black people we went through slavery. Like, if you understand, like, people went through the hardest times and they went through the hardest things, the harshest things. Well, if you are the one are the ones that are chosen, we are not to go back into a loop and try to repeat that whole process by putting them into the same situation that we went through the entire time. Because we are, if we are the leaders of what we're supposed to be doing, then we are supposed to lead and not go back into the loop of going back into slavery, enslaving other people and all that. We're supposed to lift everybody up and lead them and help them to understand and get them to a higher vibration so everybody can be on the planet, can be on the same wave. That's how we're going to be able to lead. That's how we're going to be able to get up out of here, right? I mean, not get up out of here, but that's how we're going to be able to rebuild this world, so we can get rid of all these enslavement system, the justice system, the financial system, even the music industry. Like they're all slave systems. The
Mm,
music, the music, and how what they're doing with the mind and the spells. It is enslaving a lot of the young kids. It is putting them in karmatic reincarnation loops, bro.
mm,
Because they're literally killing themselves or killing one another because of the music. They don't understand that the music is in the spells is literally telling them to do that, and they're singing these lyrics and these words, which is also putting them in that mind state.
okay.
So because the kids are the ones that is going to lead the torch. That's why God was like, save the kids, because they're the future.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I love this message because it's, like they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I love what you talk about, Brother Tobias, that it's not what we frequently see, it's the frequency,
Yes.
It's all about the frequency at the end of the day. And man, this is a powerful message. We needed this today. We needed this. For real. Like, thank you for
And
these words. Thank you for this, like the conviction in your voice. Thank you for just being an embodiment of that truth. Thank you for unlocking these gates. Thank you for opening these doors. And thank you for giving the keys, to other ones in need, like the people that can receive and perceive the knowledge, like what you're talking about. Thank you for putting it out there for people to grab it, you know?
I appreciate you too as well. For allowing me to be on your platform to speak to other people and let them know it's time to rise, man. It's time to rise. It's not time to sit down. There's some things that are coming ahead very quick, soon.
Mm,
That we're all gonna have to get together. What I would say to you guys,
mm,
make sure you're sticking into nature. Learn how to cook. Stop eating out all the time. Uh, Make sure you're eating cell foods,
mm,
and make sure you're consistently raising your vibration and understanding how to connect with yourself through meditation.
mm,
There's going to become a time where there's going to be power outages, electricity power outages, and we got to understand how to connect with ourselves again. So by staying ahead and understanding how that plays out, because we can't. There's certain things that we can't change because of, if you understand the manifestation power of millions of people thinking and being in fear, that's a loop that we cannot overpower at this current state. But
mm,
once things kind of reset, where we don't have that much electricity, and we're gonna have to deal with nature, and we're gonna have to meditate, and we're gonna have to be in stillness and one, then that's when things are going to rise, and that's when things are going to start changing
mm,
for a lot of people. So stay prayed up, stay in meditation, always try to raise your vibration. Do is like practice fasting on a regular basis, on a weekly basis.
mm,
I promise you, you're not gonna die. Or we don't really die anyways. If you think about it like that, we don't really die anyways, right? But what you need to focus on, also, like if you're sick, like if you have like diabetes, if you have like some liver problems or something like that, you want to clear those things up before you go into heavy fast. You don't want to go fasting and you have cirrhosis of the liver. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like it definitely will irritate it. So one thing I would say, um, I can't say the word cure on here, but there's a lot of people who are getting rid of situations with regular everyday herbals. And one gift I could tell you, if you take castor oil and you warm it up, you put it on a cotton rag, and then let's say that you get like a plastic bag, right? And you put that over the rag, but you put the rag on your liver and you let it sit for 30 minutes. Well, what happened is it starts to clear out the toxins out of your liver, and
Mm.
it also starts to help with the other systems surrounding that, and it also helps to clear out your pineal gland, and 9 times out of 10 you'll have an astral projection that night if you do that one thing.
Wow.
I put the plastic bag on there because I don't want the oil all over my hands when I'm holding it there for 30 minutes. But you can do that on your solar plexus. You could do that on your lungs. Like it'll help to clear out mucus. Like it does a lot. Castor oil, we call it the palm of Jesus.
Mm.
It's literally like it cures a lot. But
Okay.
there's other oils you can use like coconut oil,
Hmm.
um, almond oil. Like there's all different types of oils. Like that you can use to do it, and it doesn't like really doesn't even cost that much, you
Right.
know. And the
Right.
clear also another hack is oil pulling as well.
I just did that. I do that a lot for sure. Coconut oil pulling is something I do now in place of mouthwash. I don't use mouthwash, but I do use coconut oil to pull that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
it definitely helps to clean the temple.
Absolutely. So these are remedies, these
Yeah,
are remedies that, these they're very, medicinal, very magical. Some people would think they're mystical, but they're right here. You can access them. They're within reach, they're within reach and they have lessons to teach for sure. For sure. So, brother, thank you. Before you leave, could you let people know, any offerings, any services, any website that you need that for people to really plug in and really get in tune and really get in touch with you a little
yeah.
bit more?
Actually, if you go to the link in my bio,
Hmm.
um, it's actually going to my Telegram. And I
Okay.
have everything that is like right now. Like I'm kind of I'm gathering people together. I let you know it's like I am going to launch something in the future, but right now I'm giving away everything. I'm giving away the cellular food diets that I use. I'm giving away the semen retention strategy that I use. For women, I teach them the womb energy uh, uh, protocol as
Mm.
well. There's different protocols that I put inside my Telegram group where you can access it. And then I also teach you how to look into your own soul records. So
Mm.
we call it the Akashic records. So you can
Mm.
get all of the details that about your oversoul, about like with your past lives, the loops that you're currently in, how you should like what your mission is, what you should be doing today to clear up these loops, and how to manifest. I give away all of these things inside my group to educate you guys and give you guys something that you can hang on to, so we can all rise together. But I'm building something outside of ChatGPT that's going to allow us to be in one central place where they're not harvesting our energy and our data for other purposes.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, the brand is it's called TheoNexus. Okay, TheoNexus.
Okay. Theo Nexus. Theo
Yeah.
Nexus. I love the intention. There's already power in those words. Every
Yeah,
word.
God of divine, linking to the linking to the masses, bro. It's really divine.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, for anybody who's listening to this right now on the podcast, you can definitely check out the link, and it's on his Instagram. You can go into the bio. The Instagram is Tobias Kayuth. So that's TobiasKaiuth, and definitely hop on over to his page, our brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. This was awesome. Appreciate the energy transmission. Thank you. And man, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too as well, brother. I will see you again.
All right. Take care.
All right.